hear me? Can anyone hear me? If you can, it's okay, I'm just testing. Can anyone hear me? If you can, it's okay, I'm just testing. That's okay, at least we are good to go. Good evening, guys, and welcome to Eldar Embracing. This is the Go For Yourself JTCC GR3s, and yes, we are at Sardagena, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and we are on the C circuit here this evening for what is the penultimate round of the championship. And if it's anything like last week at I'm trying to think where we were last week. I've lost my mind. Saint-Croix, that's it, Saint-Croix. Yes, if it's anything like Saint-Croix last week, it will be epic, it will be exciting, and it will be very top-notch. I cannot wait to see exactly what's going to happen this evening. It is going to be fantastic. So yes, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching the stream as per usual, and it is the one and only Hoppers in the commentary box, and it is slightly warm, so you know, I've got my water to hopefully keep me going and keep me hydrated, because I'm going to need it. And we are going to be in for an epic night of racing. So we've got, obviously, Darren Baldwin, who nearly won last week. It was very close between him and, of course, Rasmus. It looks like the Beetle may be on top form this evening. It is a short track. It is probably I'm going to say this now, it probably seems to be a bit of a close proximity racing around here. It's probably going to be one of the closest lap times. The lap times at the moment are in the 52s, so you know, it's just not the 52.4, so you know, it's not even a minute long this lap around here. So you know, there is a lot. Obviously we have been around here before for other series. We have got obviously being on the shortest track. It is an hour long, but you know, with the short tracks it tends to bring more laps and tends to bring more excitement, and we do have quite a lot of interest this evening. We do have, obviously, as I say, the hour long race, but you know, there's no qualifying, so, and a rolling start, so it depends who gets the good jump into turn number one. Turn number one is just an easy way of getting it flat out, going into the hairpin at the bottom, you know, going into this tight left and right down the hill, and then back up the hill towards the hairpin. The hairpin is where it can get narrow, because not only on entry and exit, yes, you can run excuse me, you can run wide as Darren jumps into pit lane. You can run very wide, you know, you can run wide, and you can tend to not have an issue there, but you know, it seems to be, obviously with pit lanes, you know, Brian Ross gets a bit crossed up out the final turn. It does seem that there is a lot of things ongoing, but yes, it is going to be exciting. It is going to be probably very close indeed. I can't wait to see exactly what's going to happen this evening, because as I say, if it's anything like it was last week at Saint-Croix on the last lap, you know, it just perfectly strung together exactly certain things. But you know, anything can happen around here. You know, we've got, obviously, I believe Nathan Rombounce and of course Nathan John, so they're both Nathans unfortunately are missing this evening due to work commitments, which, you know, is a big shame, but hopefully they'll be back for the season finale, and it should be very close between a couple of the drivers. So, you know, let us know what you think's going to happen. Who do you think's going to win the race this evening, or is there any fireworks you think are going to happen? So yes, there is going to be a lot of interest this evening. Whether we get, obviously we've got on board with Darren's Beetle. Still sporting that tribute, so fair play to him. So he's going down into the left-right complex now, which you go down the hill and you've got to be careful because the wall on either side, it doesn't matter, you know, you've got obviously the barrier and also the brick wall, and obviously now coming into the hairpin. The hairpin could be a few moves where people may go on the outside. Obviously coming down start finish line now, you've got to be careful because with the cars coming up the hill at such great speed, the pit lane exit just spits you straight, almost straight out into the pack. So, you know, getting your strategy right here for your softs, mediums and hard tyres is going to be crucial, because if you go into pit lane and you're leading, you could easily technically lose that sort of position if you're not careful. Excuse me. And you know, there will be a lot of time where certain drivers may spend a bit more proximity, but you know, we'll see what happens. And obviously it is a short track, so you know, it is in the 52s at the moment. I'm yet to obviously see what's going to happen with lap times. I've heard that, you know, from Brian Moncani, who drives the Viper, he seems to be struggling around here. Darren claims the Beetle is now the car to be around here, which seems to be, at the moment, seems to be the pace, with obviously testing and obviously certain bits and pieces. But you know, is it going to be worth jumping into certain places around here? Because with the circuit being short as it is, you know, it could easily, someone could end up pushing too hard to the limit around here. I've obviously done a few laps, not in these cars, but obviously in the safety car, just to get used to it when I first saw the track, and I kind of thought I'm pushing too hard because I've got the wall on one side, got the wall on the other, and then obviously going up the hill section, going down the hill, you know, it's very easy to overcook. Obviously going into the back half of the lap, especially into that hairpin, is another one. So, you know, who knows what will happen this evening. As I say, it is quite warm, it's quite humid, and you know, luckily I've got plenty of water to keep myself going, so I don't lose my voice and potentially cough so many times down people's ears. But yes, it is going to be exciting. Obviously, you know, this is, I believe it is the penultimate round of the championship, so we are looking to see what happens. Obviously tonight you've got obviously the JTCC GR2s, but you know, that is not live. But I believe when Darren's got a spare moment or two during the week, he does the re-live action. So yes, they are, the GR2s are racing as of this evening, but you know, unfortunately that is not live. But yes, the GR3s are, and yes, you've got me for this evening as per usual. So yes, rumour has it season 2 of this series is going to be a 90-minute endurance race, so it's going to be an hour and a half. Each round's going to be an hour and a half, so it does seem like there's going to be kind of a twist. Instead of an hour, it's going to be an hour and a half. So, you know, it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be probably more closer than you think, but we'll soon find out. Obviously the grid tonight is full reverse of the race last week, so obviously, you know, it's going to be close to see exactly what's going to happen. Depending on how people jump in to seeing what goes on this evening is another thing, but as I say, it's going to be close. So yeah, you've got the likes of obviously Brian Ross, you've got Stu Shelton, who's currently sat in pit lane just to keep that Porsche nice and warm and keep it running. It seems that we're going to be in for a great night of racing. So I'm going to grab a quick drink and get myself into the zone, and yeah, I'll catch you up in a couple of minutes' time. So yes guys, welcome back. So we do have currently on screen Dean Atkinson, who actually won the Eliminator series on Friday, or the Eliminator one-off race. He will be gloating, he'll be on a high from that. Hopefully he can replicate what he did in the Eliminator on Friday, and maybe he can push on and try and see what that Supra can do. The Supra last week seemed to be really strong towards the mid half of the race. It seemed to be quick as he liked, and obviously he got it into all particular angles. It seemed to be very close, and it seemed to be probably on course for almost a victory last time out at Sinqua. But you know, round here at Sardagena, it may be a different kettle of fish, but who knows. We've got obviously Sardagena in the Aston Martin, the sole Aston Martin of Virtuoso Racing. They have the quartet. I believe Bruno Batica's McLaren will be making another return this evening, so hopefully we get to see the red McLaren, and we get to see the likes of obviously Nuno and of course Rui Duarte. So, excuse me. So yeah, we'll get to see the Portuguese contingents. They seem to be mid-pack at the moment from what I've seen, but you know, nevertheless, they obviously seem to run. Obviously, there was a quite few talking points from what I saw at Blue Moon. Where was it? Blue Moon? I think it was either Blue Moon or it was somewhere along them lines where. No, it wasn't Blue Moon. It was Autopolis, where Sardagena and of course I believe it was Nuno or Rui Duarte that took each other out. And obviously, you know, since then they've had to try and push on quite a bit. It seems that Rui's Beetle, that came third in the race at Sinqua. He obviously seemed to get his strategy right. It looked like he was on course for quite a long, strenuous pushing for stints to try and get the stints over and done with. He was pushing to try and get the race win. It seemed that he was obviously on a massive charge, but you know, around here, even though it's a short lap, you know, it can be a lap where you need to excuse me, try and push on quite a bit. So, you know, there's quite a few people this evening. So Stu Shelton in his green Porsche 911, the first of 911s, it is going to be very close for this evening. As I say, the lap round here is only a 52.4 at the moment, so you know, anything can happen in the race itself. It is going to be a long race for an hour. You know, we might get so many people pushing so much into what into certain places, and obviously there's people are saying there's not really quite a lot of overtaking spots around here. Yeah, you've got the front straight, you've got the corners, you know, as long as you get that certain consistency into your strategies, you will be on for sort of a easy run to the flag. But we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm not really going to tip a winner, because at the moment it seems to be that, you know, it's going to be very close proximity. We do have quite a lot of cars hopefully going to be pushing this evening. You know, you've got the likes of obviously Oligero, you've got Nuno rather, you've got Rui, and you've got of course Stu Shelton, and of course Bruno Batica, who came back making his Eldar Racing return. And obviously you've got Darren in the Beetle, you know, and then obviously the likes of Rasmus, you've got Adam Morgan, not British Touring Car star Adam Morgan. You have got his namesake, the Welsh namesake of Adam Morgan, and you know, there's quite a lot of people. Brian Ross is one. There's quite a lot of people in this division that have proved points over time. Obviously the battles in the pack seems to be spread out quite a bit. It seems to be whether certain things go to plan or whether certain things with your strategies, you know, yes, okay, you've got obviously quite equally matched sort of times between certain people in that field. You know, we looked at what happened at Sekoa last time out with the victory going to Rasmus. You know, I thought Darren was going to take the win. Darren was actually chasing him, and it was actually 0.9 of a second to finish that race. And it just shows whatever happens in this race, it can be so much pressurised. You know, your strategies, okay, if you go onto the hards, you must do them. I think it's at least 6 laps, maybe a bit longer, depending on how well your strategy pans out. Obviously, you know, if you go onto the mediums, same again, and same with the soft. So after that, you kind of have a bit of free for all. I don't know really what the best tyre is round here, because obviously I've not done it in an endurance race. I've not actually had the right idea, but I'm sure, you know, we'll figure out as time goes on. As I say, it is a roll in the start, and it is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see exactly what is going to happen. If anything goes like it was last week, it seemed to be quite very exciting towards the latter part of the race, towards the final part of where it begins and where everything happens. So yes, it is going to be probably close as you like. So we've got Adam Morgan currently on screen, coming through the final turn in the Chevy Corvette. He's going to be the only Corvette on the grid this evening, and he's probably going to want to try and extend a bit of that magic. He wants to try and win again. He's obviously, last time out, he struggled quite a bit, whether it's just getting caught up in people's mistakes or the fuel consumption of that Chevy Corvette, because on the last lap he actually went into pits whether the Corvette was deciding to drink too much fuel, and there was quite a bit of things ongoing. But you know, anything can happen with this race. It can be quite close, but we'll find out. And yes, it is going to be fantastic to see. The traffic is going to be an issue around here. It probably will be, because it is such a short lap, and there is going to be probably some close proximity battles. The key point for me though, where I feel like the battles are going to happen, or where I think quite a lot of drivers are going to be caught out, even though they are doing testing at the moment, is going down the hill where Dean is approaching now. I think here is going to be where it is going to be close, because if you've got a gaggle of cars, or you've got, as Malcolm Argo likes to take 3 in a bed, I don't know exactly how he manages to get away with that, but with the three aside, or depending on how many cars you get through that compatible part of the circuit, you may be okay if you jump onto that. You may be very close to see exactly what will happen, but you know, it doesn't. Sometimes I feel like it's not going to make it easy within certain bits and pieces, but we'll see exactly what's going to happen this evening. It is hopefully going to be fantastic. You know, I've seen people in the past when they've tried to overtake and they've run wide and they've gone into the wall on either side, and it seems like, you know, if you get pushed into the wall, it can hamper you. But you know, we've got to look out for the fast guys. The fast guys are towards the are going to be very close to see exactly what's going to happen for this evening. And I think, you know, from what I kind of gather, we do have quite a bit of close proximity racing, and we shall have certain bits and pieces, but as I say, it is kind of warm, and you know, I am going to have to seriously get a lot of fluids down me this evening, because I will be probably coughing and spluttering if I am not careful. But yes, we are going to be into some close racing, some close proximity. You know, we do have obviously Nuno, we've got the likes of Oliveira, Rui, and of course Bruno making the Portuguese quartet. A couple of the guys though, from what I have seen throughout last time out at Senqua, it seemed we were pushing quite a bit for battles galore, and it seemed to be where we didn't expect the moves, but the moves did pull off. And I think round here as well is going to be also a challenge. So Dean's obviously gone off there. That's one of the issues where, from what I, you know, if you get it onto the rough stuff there, you get onto the dirt, that can easily spit you around. Excuse me. That can easily spit you around and tend to not be the best. So, obviously, what we're expecting this evening, well, as I'm going to say, I think the Beetles are going to be the car to look out for, because obviously Darren's expecting the Beetle. Going to be kind of a bit on the money. So, you know, the Beetle is going to be quick. I think the Porsche as well may be sort of thereabouts. Whether the Porsche decides, you know, obviously you got the likes of Nuno and of course Stu Shelton, but we do have obviously Brian Mongani in the Viper. The Viper, you know, he's been so close to getting onto the top step, but it, you know, it feels like last time out at Senqua he had a bit of, you won't mind me saying, a bit of argy-bargy going on, but hopefully he will be okay. So some of the guys at the moment, currently at the moment there is 9 drivers, so we should be okay, but hopefully. Evening Darren, thank you mate. Yes, lots of drinks indeed. I need to have lots of fluid. It is very warm mate, it is absolutely warm. How are you? Will you? Hello Brian, last week wasn't your track, this week you'll struggle too. I don't think you will mate, I've got faith in you. I've got faith in you, I really have. But You're currently sat in the freezer? Jesus, man. Anytime, mate, anytime. Darren sat in the freezer, everyone. I could do with sitting in the freezer too, but I don't think I'll fit through the door, mate. Okay, fair enough, mate, fair enough. He's got 2 fans round him. I could do with fans, mate, but it's a bit warm tonight. But yes, it should be great. We'll see exactly what will happen. As I say, I've got faith in every single one of these drivers. Oh, bless you, thank you, Brian. I'm glad someone's my fan. But yeah, it should be good. You know, hopefully things go to plan. But we do have, looking at the grid, there's obviously quite a few drivers that are going to be around. Hopefully this evening it goes very well for every single one of you. And yes, I've got plenty of water, and you know, I've got the windows open, so it is hopefully going to be a lot more better. So, what do we reckon, guys? What do we reckon is going to happen? Do we reckon the Beatles are going to be dominant around here? Because with that 52.430, I reckon that's going to be a time we're going to look for in the race. We do have obviously quite a lot of drivers looking to seeing what the emulation is going to be. But you know, like I say, if anything was like last week where the guys were pushing throughout certain points of the race, you know, it seemed to be where the last half hour of the race is where I think it's going to get most people. But hopefully we are going to be very close. So looking at certain times around here, you know, we are going to have to push on quite a bit. But from what I am seeing, there is a few people yet to enter. So I'm just going to cool off for a minute and have a drink of water because I need it. I'll probably end up going through the full bottle of water by half distance, so who knows. I'm already feeling the sweat. But yes, it is going to be fantastic. I hope we have a good race. I hope we do get through the hour cleanly. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to sort something out. So yeah, guys, I do apologise. I was just busy sorting something out for the host for this evening. I'm sure you will, Brian. I'm sure you put on a good show, mate. I'm sure you do. You always do. So, you know. So we do have a couple of minutes delay while we get the grid set up. So we'll soon find out. So at the moment it looks like 11 cars. Whether who was it who left? I think it was Stu Shelton that left. I'm just going to try and figure out who it was. Yeah, Stu's left. So whether Stu is coming back is another thing, but hopefully he is, and it shall be great. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. We've got quite a few people enjoying the racing in the stands here at Sardagena. But yes, it is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see how well things go. So we are going to be approximately 5 or 10 minutes behind. So while we get the grid set up for this evening, but we should be okay very shortly. There's a couple of tweaks. Obviously, you know, if you get a penalty, you must take it before start finish the line, and if you cross the line, it will count. If you do not get rid of it, just to throw that in there. But hopefully we should be good to go very shortly. As I say, we are 5 or 10 minutes behind because just trying to get the grid sorted. So we should be good to go. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen. As I say, traffic around here is going to be a major factor as well, because you know you don't want to get caught up around certain points with traffic. So you've got obviously Rasmus in the BMW. Is he going to make it another win of the season? Obviously, you know, I've now got the points to go through, so we'll go through exactly the point scoring situation just while we're waiting to start. So in first place then is Adam Morgan, currently leading the pile. He has got 64. They have Brian Moncani on 227. It seems like we do have Rasmus on 220. Then you have Darren Baldwin on 96 rather. They have Stu on 194. Then obviously Brian Ross on 190, Rue Duarte 181, Dean Atkinson has obviously had a car change, so he's got minus 20 points taken off him for that. He's got currently down in, so he's on 176. They have no flex on 160. Where was I? Yeah, Nate Fletcher on 165, Nuno on 146, and Oligero 103, Steve Stones on 83, Dan Cope on 38, tied with Bruno Batica. That currently is making his comeback. obviously Callum Doggerel on 16 points. So that is exactly the point scoring going into this evening. Whether that will change come the end of the evening, it is yet to be seen. So we'll be starting very shortly. We are just waiting for the grid to finally just be sorted. It is not an issue, but we should be good to go, and we should be in for a fantastic race, and hopefully my voice does not disappear like it almost did last time out at Senghua. And yes, the final round next week will be at the Nürburgring on the GP circuit, so we'll be in for some epic racing around there. So Brian has just started the lobby, and he's about to give the guys a lot of very close proximity, and we'll soon find out what is gonna happen around here this evening here at Sardagena. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen, but we do have Bruno Batica and Steve Stone, so the two McLarens at the moment on the front row, followed by Ollie Gero and Nuno, and of course Dean Atkinson, followed by Fast Portuguese, so Rui Duarte, followed by Brian Ross, Stu Shelton, Darren, and of course Rasmus, Brian Moncani, and of course Adam Morgan at the tail of the field. So we are about to get 5 red lights to turn to green. It's going to go for the penultimate round of the Go Fudge Yourself GR3s, brought to you in association by Eldar Racing, and we are good to go for an hour here at Sardagena for a very close proximity race. We'll see exactly what's going to happen on the opening lap. Hopefully everyone has got through the rolling start okay. It kind of looks like it at the moment. It looks like there's a gap, just a bit of a gap between Stu and of course Darren Rasmus, and Brian Moncani, and of course Adam Morgan at the back of the field. But already there's a battle for the lead going down the hill for first place. It looks like Bruno Batica's got to hold off the other McLaren of Steve Stone's going into the hairpin for the first time. This is where it can be very close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. It looks like Nuno and Ollie Gero had a bit of contact going out of the hairpin. That is exactly what I was on about in the preview, what everyone was testing. So it is going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen. It does look like at the moment though Nuno and of course Ollie Gero, they're having a bit of a battle, while Bruno Batica and Steve Stones are leading this race. It looks like at the moment Rui Duarte is going to try and catch up Dean Atkinson, followed by Stu Shelton's finally got past Brian Ross. Brian Ross has a bit of a gap to Rasmus at the moment, with Darren chasing him down hot on his heels. Looks like Brian Moncani and of course Adam Morgan there. Brian Moncani gets a bit loose into the wall, which he knows that it's going to be very difficult. He did say he's going to be struggling around here, but whether he does or not, it looks like Bruno Batica's leading and ticking off another lap as we speak. Steve Stone's also there. It looks like Ollie Gero's got Stu Shelton and Dean Atkinson alongside him. It's going to be very close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. We're already on lap number 3. In this race, it seems that the race is going to be over before we know it if we're not careful, but Ollie Gero trying to make a move on Stu Shelton going into turn number 1. He gets that move stuck, but he needs to be careful, because if Stu gets that overlap, tries to get there, he'll have a bit of a paint work. He gets a bit crossed up. That's cost him a bit of time, so that's spun him round. So that's allowed Rasmus, Brian Ross, and of course Darren Baldwin and Brian Moncani trying to keep up. It looks like Rasmus is all over the back of Brian Ross going into the hairpin for the 3rd time. So it looks like Rasmus has already got him. It looks like Darren is also going to be chasing. So the beetle of Darren Baldwin there trying to launch an attack. But at the moment we'll see what's happening further up the front. It looks like the two McLarens side by side going into turn number 2. Obviously on lap number 4 as we speak. This is where it's going to be very close. We cannot believe how well this race already started to unfold. But at the moment, Steve Stones is trying to put Bruno Batica under so much pressure. It looks like the McLarens seem to have the edge at the moment, seems to have the edge going down the hill. But whether the Portuguese or Bruno Batica can hold off Steve Stones at the moment. Obviously Nuno and Rui Duarte currently chasing. Dean Atkinson also there, but it looks like we're going to be in for a close proximity battle. Looks like Rasmus is trying to gain. It's almost a 3-car train going out of the hairpin to start lap number 5. We're already up to the 56 minutes remaining mark, it looks like, you know, but Dean Atkinson's got to think about a strategy because he's got Stu Shelton overtaking him. It looks like Rasmus is also there. Rasmus is trying to push. He's got to be careful. He does not want to make a push to pass move. That is what he does not want to do. But he's got to be very careful because it looks to me at the moment Dean Atkinson is going to be pushing away. He wants to push away from Rasmus. But so far, so good. It looks to me that Rasmus is going to try and push on. But we do have a bit of an interchanging battle. Rasmus has got through though into that place. It looks like obviously Steve Stones is trying to push on. Whether he's going to get past Bruno Batica, we'll soon find out within that battle. But at the moment Nuno tries to cover from Rui Duarte. Whether they're just playing an interchanging game, you know, obviously Rasmus trying to get there with Dean Atkinson, of course Brian Ross, and obviously Darren Baldwin, and of course Adam Morgan. It looks like Oligero, Brian Moncani, he had an issue. He's dropped down to 12th at the moment. He's about 10.4 of a second from Oligero at the moment. But going back to this battle for first place on lap number 6, going into the hairpin for the 6th time with 54 and a half minutes in this race to go. It kind of looks like Bruno Batica, he's got that McLaren dialed up. Nuno and of course Rui Duarte trying to push on. They're going to try and get the Portuguese battle. It looks like Nuno's going to try and make the move there. No, Nuno's getting it covered. I do apologise. Rui Duarte gets back past Nuno. I do apologise, guys. But it looks like Nuno's going to try and latch onto the back of him as well. You've got Rasmus trying to do exactly, pushing on quite a bit. And obviously Brian Ross and Darren Baldwin trying to push on. They're going to try and have a bit of this battle with 54 minutes remaining. Looks like Adam Morgan, obviously Oligero, and I believe Brian Moncani is suffering in that Viper at the moment. But you know, the battle first is still hotting up between obviously Rasmus and of course not Rasmus, Steve Stones, and of course Bruno Batica. I do apologise, I got way ahead of myself. But it looks like Rui and of course Nuno, they're still going to battle because they've got that Beetle and Porsche still up. Stu Shelton is next. Rasmus trying to catch up. Whether he does or not, it's another thing. At the moment he's 1.2 of a second, so he may get that BMW M6 dialed up to try and chase. He wants another win. Dean Atkinson followed by Darren and of course Brian Ross. Brian Ross looks like that Mercedes at the moment trying to push away. Gets a bit crossed up onto the dirt, but you know, he's still going down the hill. We'll try and find out exactly what's happening with the battle up the front. It does look like Steve Stones has a 1.2 second gap up to Bruno Batica, but he's going to have to try and push that McLaren all the way. He's going to have to try and push up to get that McLaren past the other McLaren. It looks like Nuno's trying to latch on the back of Rui Duarte. At the moment it kind of looks it, but it's going to be fantastic to see. It looks like Stu Shelton is getting caught by Rasmus. Rasmus is 0.8 of a second from Stu Shelton at the moment, so Dane trying to catch up to that 911. Whether Rasmus gets a jump and a leap is another thing, we'll find out. Looks like Dean Atkinson and of course Darren Baldwin. Darren is trying to get that Toyota Supra dialed up into his target to try and say, look mate, I want to try and get past you as quick as I can. They're going almost nose to tail down the hill, but it's going to be very close. Darren goes to try and chink one way, tries to chink the other. Whether Dean knows he's there. Dean knows exactly how to defend, but Darren doesn't actually give him a tap to just almost look like it. But the side by side going across the start finish line, start lap number 10 out of God knows how many, but you know, it's very early stages in this race. We are almost at 51 and a half minutes remaining in this race. It seems like Darren's got that move done on Dean Atkinson. You could see that it was going to happen. Adam Morgan there up into 9th with Brian Ross 10th, Ollie Gero in 11th with Brian Moncani in 12th at the moment. But the battle for the lead is going to be very close because Bruno Batica is only 1.0 of a second from Steve Stones at the moment, but he's trying to get away. They're both trying to push on. They both look like, from what I've seen so far, they're trying to push away. It looks like Nuno's got past Rui Duarte, but he's trying to push away from his compatriot, trying to make that battle for the Beetle versus Porsche. Rui goes on the inside, he gets Nuno, he actually does that move spectacularly well, but it looks like Stu Shelton and of course Rasmus, they're going to have a bit of a good old battle as well. But going back to this battle between Nuno and of course Rui, they're going to try and push on, but it's going to be very close to see exactly how well the Beetle and the Porsche, you know, it's almost like that Rui wants to try and get away from Nuno at the moment. Nuno's going to try and push on. Whether he does, it's almost an interchanging battle, whether it's side by side or whether it's going across the line. We'll soon find out what's going further back. Obviously Darren up in 7th, Dean Atkinson has now got Adam Morgan behind him. Brian Ross goes a bit wide out of the final turn with Ollie Gero and of course Brian Moncani 10.0. Brian Ross is the first to pit then. Whether he's decided, well, I'm going to go on to a nice strategy, make it a lot easier. Rasmus and Stu Shelton, they're actually catching the two Portuguese. It looks like Nuno and of course Rui Duarte. They're going to try and push on. We'll try and go back to the battle, what's going up at front. But at the moment so far, it looks like Nuno is trying to get away from Rui Duarte because he wants that Porsche to try and match that equal pace, it looks like at the moment. But Rui's going one side. Oh, there's a bit of contact, well, a bit of slip and slide. Nuno got a bit crossed up out of the hairpin, which kind of delayed him and delayed Rui for a bit. Looks like Rasmus now has got to, he's got up into 4th. He's got Stu Shelton in behind him, so he's got Rui Duarte in front. But we'll see what's happening at the front of the race at the moment between Steve Stones and of course Bruno Batica with 48 and 45 seconds remaining. Kind of looks like, this race is going to be very close. As I say, we're already on lap number 13. It seems to be like the race has only just started, but Steve Stone's trying to latch onto the back of that of a McLaren. Rasmus gets alongside Rui Duarte going into the hairpin, but Rui closes the door. He's got Rasmus right close proximity behind him as Stu Shelton is putting a lot of pressure towards trying to get to Rasmus. But at the moment it seems to be that Rasmus wants Rui Duarte gone. He tries to go on the outside, gets alongside Rui Duarte, but Rui Duarte yet again closes the door. So the Portuguese Beetle at the moment seems to be pushing on and seems to be pushing away from Rasmus at the moment. Rasmus actually knows, to get a good score here this evening to set him up for what would be another victory. But at the moment Rui Duarte has got that 3rd place covered very sensationally and probably very quick. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. Stu Shelton, he's on the move. He's tried to get past Rasmus going into the final turn. It does look like those couple of cars trying to push wide, but at the moment Stu Shelton trying to latch onto the back of Rasmus going across the start finish line. We'll see exactly what's going to happen because Nuno is also there, so Nuno's trying to push. Kind of looks like Rasmus has got past Rui Duarte. Bit of contact between the two of them. That's also delayed Stu Shelton to try and get past, but looks like Nuno is also there. we'll try and find out exactly what's going on at the front as well when we can. But you know, so far Nuno is trying to catch up to Stu Shelton, but Rui Duarte's got to be careful because he's got Rasmus. Rasmus is quite quick, and we've got Darren Baldwin also lurking in the background. You can see the John Guest sponsored Beetle, the Perset one, trying to latch onto the back of this chasing pack, but it is almost quite close again for third place. We'll see exactly what's going on for the race lead very shortly as well. But at the moment, Rasmus trying to get past Rui Duarte for third place. He's trying to make that BMW an absolute machine. He's trying to push on. It seems that Rasmus wants to get up into that podium place at the moment, it seems. But Darren's got past Nuno for 6th place at the moment. But we'll see exactly what's going to happen. We'll go back to what I think is going to be very close. It looks like Steve Stones at the moment is struggling in the McLaren. Whether he is or not is another thing, but I don't think he is. I think he's just trying to push on, and Bruno Batti could lead to this race. At the moment, we'll see exactly what's happened. Darren's 6th with Nuno 7th, Adam Morgan 8th, Dean Atkinson in 9th, Brian Ross 10th. It looks at the moment Brian Moncani 11th, Ollie Gero in 12th. But going back to this battle for 3rd, looks like Rasmus has got Rui Duarte now, so he's got rid of Duarte. Duarte's under threat from Stu Shelton. Going into the tight twisty stuff down the hill then, but we are 45 minutes to go in this race. It seems like we've only just started, but like I said before, it is quite a short lap, so the time can go very quick round here. Rui Duarte thinks about getting Rasmus into the hairpin. Is he going to get that move stuck? Yes he is. He's actually got Rasmus, hung him out to dry like a damp pair of washing on the washing line. But it looks like at the moment Darren goes into pit lane then. Obviously be the first of the Beatles, that will drop him down quite a bit. But then you've got Rui Duarte thinking about getting Rasmus again. Rasmus gets a bit close. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the pair of them, which has allowed Stu Shelton to jump up into 4th. Rasmus is going to not like that. The Dane has got fighting spirit, but he's got to be careful. I know it's early days in this race, but you know, we're not even halfway through the race yet, and it seems like there's battles galore going on. Adam Morgan 7th, Dean Atkinson 8th, Brian Ross 9th, Brian Moncani 10th. Darren actually comes out on the pits out of the pits on the softs, and obviously Ollie Gero about to get a lot down by his countryman Bruno Batika at the moment. But we're going to see exactly what's happening for 3rd place, because Rui Duarte has got Stu Shelton trying to lurk behind him. Whether he does, Rasmus gets through, but it looks like Rasmus wants to seriously get past Rui Duarte for 3rd place. That BMW is snaking and it's costing people time at the moment, it seems. There's a yellow flag in this sector. Who has gone off? Steve Stones has gone off. Whether there's been contact, he's dropped hand over fist. He's lost places, so you know he's going to have to be careful. So that's allowed Rasmus up into 3rd, Rui Duarte in 2nd. Kind of looks like that Rasmus's medium tyres are slowly but surely going off. Kind of looks like Rui Duarte wants to hold off from the Dane at the moment. So you know what has happened to Steve Stones rather. Has he just had a bit of a misfortune going down towards the hill? Rui Duarte gets that move. Rasmus is trying to go there. Rasmus gets the door closed into him. Looks like there's a handful of cars in pit lane at the moment. So Dean Atkinson followed by Adam Morgan and Steve Stones. They're in pit lane at the moment, so we'll see exactly what is going to happen. Rui Duarte though getting bullied by Rasmus at the moment. It looks like they're going to be battling quite a bit, these two. Whether Rasmus thinks about it, you know, we'll see exactly what's going on. But Brian Moncani, Darren Baldwin, they're both in 7th and 8th now, so they're where they want to be. Adam Morgan on the mediums, Ollie Gero, Dean Atkinson actually jumps a lap down because Bruno Batica has got there. Dean Atkinson on the mediums, Steve Stones on the hards, with Oliveira also chasing him down. But Bruno Batica at the moment still leading this race with 21 laps in the book. It looks like Rasmus is trying to get away from Rui Duarte. Whether he does it or not is another thing. We'll find out. He's 0.9 of a second. It looks like at the moment Nuno is going to try and catch him as well. So the two Portuguese drivers trying to catch up to Rasmus. Rasmus is trying to be on a mission this evening. He wants to try and make it another win. But at the moment he's got to try and catch Bruno Batica for that win. We'll see what exactly is happening. Rasmus goes a bit wide into the hairpin. Is he going to be... Are they going to be making a pit stop? Rasmus goes into pit lane. So the BMW jumps into pit lane with Rui and of course Nuno. Excuse me, trying to battle it out now with Nuno trying to push his compatriot all the way for second place at the moment. So it's a Portuguese 1, 2, 3 at the moment if anything stays like this. But you know, Rasmus jumps into pit lane, Brian Ross 5th. Brian Ross on the softs, but he's almost out of fuel. But Darren is going to try and get away from Brian Moncani at the moment. They will soon probably leapfrog Rasmus for what looks like 6th, and Rasmus comes out just as these two cross paths into 6th and 7th, so Rasmus has got to do all that again. But looking at the race, it looks like Fast Portuguese, we're going to take the battle to the pit lane by the looks of it. So Fast Portuguese, Bruno Batica and of course Nuno and Stu Shelton, they all jump into pit lane relatively together. 40 minutes to go in this race then, so we're not even, you know, it's going to be very close proximity. But we'll soon find out what is going to happen. Who is going to get the lead of the race? Brian Ross actually will get the lead of the race. He actually hasn't, because Bruno Batica's come out on the softs and actually leapfrog Brian Ross. Darren Baldwin in 3rd. Brian Moncani also in 4th. It looks like Nuno and of course Rui, and of course Rui's got... Rasmus has got past him, so you could kind of gather that was going to happen. But it looks like Nuno's got Rasmus to deal with. Then obviously Stu Shelton, Adam Morgan, of course Dean Atkinson, Steve Stones and Oliveira complete your top 12. Darren Baldwin trying to put a lap on. But it looks like Brian Ross in 2nd place at the moment with that fuel. He's going to have to obviously now pit, you know, 39 minutes to go then. So it looks like, you know, we're going to be in for a great proximity battle. Nuno looks like he's got Brian Moncani, the Belgian, trying to get past the Portuguese. Looks like Rasmus and Rui Duarte, they're going to have their battle. They're going to reignite their battle from earlier on. But whether it happens or not is another thing. You've got to be careful, because if Rasmus gets tapped or Rui gets a mistake, Rui's going to go for that move again. He's going to go for his famous move. He goes a bit wide, he knocks Rasmus a bit wide. Stu Shelton and of course Adam Morgan have a bit of hand over fist battle as well. So there's lots of battles between the top 8 at the moment. Rasmus and Rui Duarte. Rui Duarte gets a bit bullied out there. But, you know, Rasmus gets alongside. Rasmus needs to seriously concentrate. He can't afford to have issues with others because, you know, yes, okay, he's hunting for a win, but he's got to be careful because he's got Adam Morgan trying to get past excuse me, trying to get past Rui Duarte there for 5th place at the moment. So Brian Moncani jumps into pit lane in the Viper. Believe you me, I think the Viper is struggling this evening, but you know, he's not going to give up. Adam Morgan tries to make a move on Rui Duarte. Whether he does or not is another thing. Oh, there's a bit, oh yes, there was a bit slight contact. Kind of was a bit inevitable there, but we can't see exactly what is going to happen. But Adam Morgan currently with Rasmus on his tails now, trying to chase after Rasmus. These two have had wins so far this season, but it looks like Rui Duarte down in 8th place. Dean Atkinson currently 9th. Brian Ross on the mediums now in 10th. Brian Moncani on the mediums. Bruno Batica leads the race. Oligero 12th at the moment. But looking at what is going on, Darren Baldwin in 2nd with Nuno in 3rd at the moment. Rasmus and Adam Morgan, they're going to try and go side by side into turn number 1. This is what I mean. With 36.5 minutes to go, anything can happen in this race. Anything can literally be pushed to the absolute limit. But I'll tell you this, it seems there was a bit of argy-bargy for a couple of laps, but whether that is to do with just the nature of this circuit, we'll soon find out. Adam Morgan getting chased by Rasmus. Rasmus is trying to push on. He wants that BMW to try and push where he needs it, but he's got to do it very carefully. He can't afford to pick up any issues with the stewards, but you know, he's 4th at the moment. He's got to be careful. 36 minutes remain, but we're going to be very close to what is going to be a very epic end to the race. I'll tell you what is the gap between Darren and of course Bruno Batica? 10.6, 10.9, I beg your pardon, but 10.9. Darren's going to try and push that Beetle. It's looking very fast. It's looking very feisty this evening. So at the moment, Nuno is around in 3rd place. Looks like Oligero's got to be careful. He doesn't want to get caught up between himself and Adam Morgan, because that will allow Rasmus to try and launch another attack. Rasmus is also there. Rasmus is coming on to Adam Morgan's back bumper. Oligero almost clipped the back of Rasmus, trying to slow the car down into the hairpin. Looks like Stu Shelton's going to give him a bit of hip and shoulder out to the final turn, saying, come on mate, you know, you might be last, but you know, just be careful. 35 minutes to go in this race. It is going to be tooth for nail, but we're already on lap 28. It does not seem like it. It seems like this race only began a couple of minutes ago, but it seems like Adam Morgan is trying to get away from Rasmus. Rasmus is 0.5 of a second, but it seems that Bruno Batica at the moment has got this McLaren dialed up. Darren's trying to push on. Darren's trying to make it hopefully a victory, but 34 minutes to go. This is where 34 and a half, should I say. Adam Morgan 4th, Rasmus 5th, Stu Shelton 6th, Rui Duarte and Steve Stones. They're having a bit of a battle now, so that's great to see. Rui Duarte and Steve Stones, the other McLaren. So yes, it's going to be very close. Rui goes a bit wide into the hairpin, or he gets a bit close to the wall, but Steve Stones has got that gap. It's 0.6. Then Dean Atkinson, Brian Ross, Brian Moncani, and of course Oligero. But at the moment it looks like Adam Morgan is trying to escape from Rasmus. He knows that Rasmus is going to be on a mission. Rasmus seems to get that BMW. He needs to realise, you know, it's going to be, I know he wants to win, I know he wants to try and push on, but he's going to have to try and push that BMW not too hard, because he's got 33.5 minutes to go. It does not, as I say, I repeat, it does not feel like this race has just near enough of the halfway stage already, but it's the nature of the circuit. We are sort of looking forward to seeing what is going to happen with the halfway mark. Stu Shelton still in 6th, Rui Duarte 7th, Steve Stone still in 8th, Dean Atkinson still 9th, Brian Ross 10th, Brian Moncani in 11th, with Oligero in 12th place at the moment. Looks to me Bruno Batica though doing a stellar job out there at the moment in that McLaren. He is going to try and see what he can do. Obviously he knows how to win races, he knows how to win championships. Darren Baldwin 12.2 at the moment. Darren is going to have to try and push that Beetle. He's going to have to try and push it. Whether he settles for second this evening, does things will add the pace. Maybe it's just one of them. But we'll soon find out. Obviously Rasmus trying to escape from Stu Shelton at the moment. Rasmus needs to try and push on. He's got now that gap of Adam Morgan 0.3. Not 1.3, yeah, 3.1, 3.2. That gap is considerably jumping up every time. It's like it's on springs. So 32 minutes to go in this race. You've got Nuno currently in third at the moment, trying to push on. Whether it's going to be one of them where tooth and nail or hand over fist. Whether, you know, you've got to be careful because Brian Moncani, yes, he may want to unlap himself, but he's got to be very careful. Darren jumps into pit lane with 31 and 40 seconds remaining. You know, it's going to be very close. Excuse me, Stu Shelton and Brian Moncani have a bit of a tap coming out of the hairpin as Stu tries to make a lap on him. We'll see what Darren comes out on in a moment or two. He's topping up the fuel tank. So, you know, it's very close. Rui Duarte in 6th place, Steve Stone's now 11th, Dean Atkinson currently 8th, Brian Ross will be in 9th with Darren's coming out. Darren's actually coming out of pit lane. He's actually just leapfrogged Brian Ross. So Darren's actually now on the softs with 31 minutes to go in this race. This is where it could be all or nothing between these guys. Brian Moncani 11th and Oligero 12th at the moment. Bruno Battica doing a stellar job, still in 1st place at the moment. Nuno currently 2nd then, with Adam Morgan 3rd. What has happened to Adam Morgan? Has he dropped down? Or was he still 3rd? So it looks like Rasmus is 4th at the moment. So it kind of looks like at the moment though, Rasmus 4th, Stu Shelton 5th, Rui Duarte 6th with Oligero, his compatriot, trying to probably just learn the lines. He's got to be careful. Yes, I know he might want to lap himself, but he can't afford to get involved. Trying to unlap. It looks like Steve Stone's 7th, Dean Atkinson 8th, with Darren Baldwin still 9th, trying to catch up to Dean Atkinson. He's 1.9 of a second now. So, you know, we're halfway through the race and it is going to be very close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen between now and then, but it is going to be very close. Darren gets a bit crossed up, whether he's just clipped the dirt a bit. He's got Brian Ross trying to chase him down, 1.2 of a second. Brian Moncani still 11th with Oligero in 12th at the moment. Bruno Battica's still there. Nuno around about Adam Morgan. Rasmus still 4th with 1.2 of a second from Stu Shelton. Stu Shelton is probably going to be on a bit of a mission. We'll soon find out. But there's not really much battles galore at the moment, so we'll soon try and find out a bit of battles if we can. But you know, Dean Atkinson and Darren, this is actually a battle. So there's no battles, but it looks like we have got one hotting up between Dean Atkinson, the reigning Eldar Sim Eliminator champion, between Darren Baldwin, probably multiple winner in several categories. I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Darren's trying to chase up to Dean Atkinson, trying to get that super dialed in and trying to reel it in. So, you know, looks like Darren's going to try and get past Dean Atkinson. A bit of a tap, but it wasn't really much of a tap. It's just probably just closing the door. But, you know, Darren's going to try and push on. He's got to be careful because Brian Ross is also catching him as well. So Brian Ross also there trying to get past the Persec Beetle. At the moment it does look like, you know, we have 28 minutes to go. There is quite a lot of battles galore. It seems to be that Darren claims the Beetle was going to be fast round here. At the moment it is fast, but it's not where he wanted to be at the moment. Whether it's just waiting to see what happens later on in the race. With 27 and 50 seconds to go, but it does look like Dean Atkinson's run a bit wide. Yes, but that's allowed Darren up now, probably up into 7th place because Adam Morgan is in pit lane. We'll see what exactly is going on. Stu Shelton's got past Rasmus. Well, got past Rasmus for 3rd place. Rasmus has got to be careful. He's got Brian Moncani trying to unlap himself, but we'll see exactly what's going to happen between these guys, between Rasmus and Stu Shelton. Stu Shelton gets a bit crossed up going down the hill, but he's got to be careful because Rasmus is on a mission. We know what Rasmus is like. Rasmus's driving at the moment seems to be a bit rough and tumble, but whether that's just because that's his style. But at the moment we've got 27 minutes to go on the clock. The clock slowly but surely winding down. We're on lap 37. But it looks like Brian Moncani's trying to unlap himself. But he's got to be careful because he's got the battle of Stu Shelton and of course Rasmus ahead of him. But this is where he is going to be very close. So 26.5 minutes to go. Keep an eye on what's going on between Rasmus and Stu Shelton for a little longer. But it seems at the moment Stu Shelton has got to be careful because Rasmus will catch him. Rasmus will definitely catch him. It seems like Stu Shelton is on a mission. But we'll see exactly what's going to happen. Stu Shelton is going to have to defend like mad. But, you know, Bruno Bottica's still leading a race with 36 minutes to go. Stu Shelton has got Rasmus for company. Rasmus really is on a mission tonight. We know he is. We know he wants to try and make another race win. Whether he is or not, we'll have to find out because you've got Bruno Bottica and of course Nuno at the moment first and second. So the Portuguese contingents are currently on the podium. Whether it stays like that after the race, so we've got 25.5 minutes to go. Rasmus is on a mission trying to catch up to Stu Shelton, but in the meantime trying to stop Brian Moncani from lapping himself. Darren currently in 6th then, so Darren 6th, Steve Stone 7th, Brian Ross 8th, Adam Morgan on the softs in that Corvette 9th, Dean Atkinson on the softs in the Supra, Brian Moncani 11th and Oliveira in 12th at the moment. So with 25 minutes to go on the clock, this is where it could be all or nothing. This is where the title, well, not the title, but the race could be on course for a very close proximity and probably one of the most excuse me, interesting and excuse me, do apologise about that, guys. I was having a coughing fit, my water went down the wrong way. So Stu Shelton currently 3rd. Now I've got hiccups. That's not good. Brian Moncani tries to think about unlapping himself, but in the meantime tried to push Rasmus a bit wide, which has cost Rasmus time to Stu Shelton. And obviously Rui Duarte also tried to catch up to this group, with Darren still 6th, Steve Stone 7th, with Brian Ross 8th, Adam Morgan 9th at the moment, so championship leader in 9th place at the moment. Dean Atkinson, excuse me, Dean Atkinson 10th, Brian Moncani 11th. Oh, he's gone a bit wide into the hairpin. That is a bit unfortunate. That will not do him any good. At least he's got 20.0, maybe 19. He's got that penalty. Oh, it's a bit of a shame with Oliveira in 12th at the moment. Bruno Bottica currently leading the race with Nuno 2nd. Stu Shelton currently trying to push away in 3rd. This is where 23 minutes will be very close. So Bruno Bottica is about to make another pit stop. So we'll see exactly how well he does and where he comes out. So Stu Shelton currently 3rd. Whether he pushes on, Nuno's also gone into pit lane, so the two Portuguese guys are probably going to be pushing. It looks like Bruno Bottica goes out of pit lane onto the hards with a bit of fuel on board. It looks like Stu Shelton will inherit 2nd place, so Rasmus will do 3rd, but you know, this is where it's going to get very close. Darren is going to probably be 4th. This is exactly probably why Darren was saying the Beetle is going to be fast. He's actually now in, yeah, he gets 4th from Nuno, but whether Nuno's going to catch him seems to be quite a bit. So Nuno 5th, Brian Mulcahy is a lap down, Brian Ross actually 6th place, Adam Morgan 7th, Rui Duarte in 8th. At the moment it could be a very quick stop for the Portuguese team if he gets it nailed, but obviously Dean Atkinson 9th at the moment, Steve Stones in 10th at the moment with Brian Mulcahy 11th, Oli Gero 12th. It looks to me Rui Duarte comes out in 8th, so that is a good pit stop for the Portuguese team. This is where it gets all or nothing with 21.5 minutes to go. Brian Ross gets a bit loosey-goosey out the hairpin, but you know, he's just pushing on. Adam Morgan in 7th with Rui Duarte in 8th place at the moment. Dean Atkinson 9th, Steve Stone's still there, Brian Mulcahy 11th, and Oli Gero in 12th at the moment. But there's not really much of battles galore at the moment. We do have 1.8 of a gap from Stu and of course Rasmus with 21 minutes remaining in this race. This is where the 21 minutes could be very close. We'll soon find out though. But it seems to be, oh, Rasmus gets a bit crossed up. I think he is about to go into pit lane. No, is he going to jump in? No, he stays up for another lap. So I think he's trying to catch up to Stu Shelton at the moment and say, right, we'll take the battle to pit lane. Looks to me at the moment Darren may inherit 2nd place if he catches up to these two. He's 4.5 of a second from Rasmus at the moment, though. It seems like, you know, this race has only, it doesn't seem like we've got 20 minutes left. It does seem like the race only started, but lap 44, and I tell you what, this is fantastic from Bruno Batica in that McLaren. That McLaren is on rails from start to now. He's obviously thought about it. 20 minutes to go. This is where the 20 minutes could be close. This is where the race could be down to its tooth and nail. Is Stu going to pit, or is Rasmus going to pit? No, they both stay out for another lap. That could be catastrophic, or it could work to their advantage. They've got to remember Darren's got a bit of fuel in that tank. Excuse me. Darren has got a bit of fuel in that tank there. Nuno trying to, in 5th place at the moment, trying to hold on. Brian Ross 6th at the moment. That's probably one of Brian's ideas. He wants to try and see what he can do. He's got a bit of fuel in that tank. Adam Morgan there, still in 7th. Rui Duarte in 8th, following Dean Atkinson with Steve Stones. I think they're going to have a bit of a battle, you know. Brian Mulcahy and of course Oli Gero 11th and 12th. But it seems to me at the moment Stu Shelton jumps into pit lane. He has finally jumped into pit lane. Darren will inherit 2nd place for the time being, unless he needs to pit again. But that Beetle is now where it comes into its own. You've got Nuno in 3rd with obviously Brian Ross 4th, Adam Morgan 5th, Stu Shelton 6th, and obviously Rasmus 7th. Rui Duarte, this is where it's going to have to get tooth and nail. I'm a bit, well, I'm not going to say concerned, but oh, he's got a bit crossed up. Bruno Batica. So Rui Duarte, is he come out ahead of Rasmus? No, he hasn't. Excuse me. Stu Shelton on the softs, Rasmus on the softs. So we've got 18 minutes to go. This is where the race could be very close. Steve Stones and Dean Atkinson 9th and 10th respectively, but Dean Atkinson gets that Supra a bit sideways. Is that going to allow Steve to try and get past? Steve's on a mission. Whether he does or not is another thing. We'll soon find out. But, you know, we've got 17.5 minutes to go. This is where it's going to be close, because we've got quite a few cars that are on a mission. Seems like the Supra's trying to hold off that McLaren, but the McLaren's also there. He's also trying to lurk in that background. So Adam Morgan and Brian Ross there into pit lane. So that's allowed Dean Atkinson. Brian Ross actually leapfrogged both of them. Brian Ross just tops up that fuel, I believe. Darren jumps into pit lane 4. A bit of splash and dash, I think. We'll soon find out. Nuno's also into pit lane, so Brian Ross 7th. Steve Stone's 8th and Dean Atkinson in 9th at the moment. So it looks to me Bruno Batica, he's on a mission. He's on a mission this evening. It seems like, you know, that McLaren, excuse me, seems like that McLaren is dialed up. So it jumps into pit lane. That's allowed Stu Shelton to come second. Darren in third with, no, he's fourth because Rasmus has got past him. But Darren's on a mission. That fuel tank, it probably will be a bit of time for him to top that fuel up and think, yep, time to go and push on. Nuno in 5th, come out on the softs with Brian Ross behind him, with the Mercedes trying to get past the Porsche, so the two German cars trying to make amends, or trying to push on, it seems, but Steve Stone's there in the McLaren with Dean Atkinson's Supra, with also Adam Morgan's Corvette lurking. Looks like Brian Mulcahy up into 10th now with Rui Duarte in 11th. On the soft, Ollie Gero trying to get out of everyone's way at the hairpin. He's probably made a mistake, 15.5 minutes to go. But look at this, Bruno Batica's gap to Stu Shelton at 13.2 of a second. So, you know, looks like Bruno Batica may have this race win under his belt. Stu Shelton, 4.5 of a second from Rasmus at the moment. It looks like Darren's going to have to try and catch up to Rasmus. If it's anything like last time at St. Croix when these two were battling for actually first and second, we're still in for a treat. So yes, it is going to be fantastic. We'll soon find out. Nuno 5th, Brian Ross trying to chase him down. Brian Ross trying to push Nuno all the way. Whether he does or not is another thing. But it's going to be fantastic to see. You know, there's a lot of time. Still got a bit of time left. 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Steve Stone's Adam Morgan and of course Dean Atkinson. Dean Atkinson wants to defend like mad from Adam Morgan at the moment. 14.5 minutes. So this is where it could get tasty. Looks like Dean Atkinson's got Adam Morgan trying to launch that attack. Yes, he does. Dean Atkinson has to concede 8th place to Adam Morgan at the moment. Ollie Gero in 12th with Brian Mulcahy now in 11th. Struggling around here with that Viper. You know, I thought he was going to do really well this evening, but obviously it does seem he's struggling. He's got to be careful because he's got that battle between Nuno and of course Brian Ross. So Brian Ross onto the back of Nuno at the moment. He's trying to stop Brian Mulcahy from overlapping himself. But it does seem at the moment that Nuno is got that 5th place from Brian Ross at the moment. It seems 13.5 minutes, yes, 13.5 minutes to go. This is where it could be all or nothing. We'll soon find out. Rasmus is 3.2 from Darren at the moment. Darren has got to get that Beetle. He's got to get the Beetle up into that zone. He needs to get into that zone. Stu Shelton 12.7 from Bruno Batica. Bruno Batica, this guy is unstoppable at the moment. The McLaren driver seems to be pushing on. Stu Shelton in 2nd. Rasmus 3rd at the moment. Darren Baldwin 4th. Nuno 5th with Brian Ross in 6th. Adam Morgan 7th. Steve Stone's 8th. Dean Atkinson 9th. Rui Duarte 10th. Brian Mulcahy 11th. And of course Ollie Gero at the rear of the field. So it looks like Nuno and Brian Ross, they're going to have a bit of a battle for 12.5 minutes remaining of this race. So this is where it can get interesting because Nuno's got that gap now. He's got it 0.6 of a second. It's closing down again because Brian Ross is trying to close him. Trying to close him down, as well as trying to stop Brian Moncani from getting past to lap. 12 minutes to go. This is where it's going to get very exciting indeed. I'll tell you what is going to happen with these 12 minutes. But at the moment, Bruno Ratica, he's got this McLaren dialed up for, you know, whether he's done well in the past here or whether it's just something he feels at home with. Stu Shelton currently second. Rasmus third, with Darren now fourth at the moment. Nuno trying to get away from Brian Ross. Brian Ross needs to get past Nuno to try and get into that fifth place. Excuse me. With 11 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Brian Ross trying to get past Nuno. He's got that gap from Brian Moncani now. Seems that Adam Morgan is trying to catch his battle. He's about 2.9 of a second, 2.8. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. But Adam Morgan still in 7th at the moment. Battle for 5th though. Excuse me. Battle for 5th between Nuno and of course Brian Ross. That is going to hot up very shortly. You know, well, hopefully, you know, Nuno tries to escape. It's also, you know, it could be a good result for him this evening. 10.5 minutes remaining. So, you know, we're even actually on the, we've gone past the 50. Bruno's actually on lap 55, so, you know, could be launching into the 60 laps. Stu Shelton's second, with Rasmus third. Darren still fourth, with Nuno and of course Brian Ross. Brian Ross actually trying to latch up that Mercedes onto the back of the Porsche. Whether the Porsche does get eaten by that Mercedes is yet to be seen. Excuse me. But seems like Nuno's got that covered at the moment, trying to push on. He's got to be careful because, you know, there's a couple of cars that could easily latch up into this group. Darren Baldwin there still in 4th place, with Adam Morgan 7th. Steve Stone's now 8th, with Dean Atkinson 9th, Rui Duarte 10th, Brian Moncani 11th, and of course Ollie Gero in 12th. At the moment it looks like Bruno Ratica may be on course for what would be a very famous win since his series return, with 9 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Stu Shelton still there in second, Rasmus in 3rd, Darren in 4th, Nuno 5th, with Brian Ross trying to catch up to him. We'll see what Brian Ross can do. Brian Ross is actually on a mission. Whether Brian gets that move done, you know, it's going to be very close. We'll soon try and chase him down, but it seems to me that Nuno is going to try and defend like mad. You know, this is where the race could be hotted up for 5th place at the moment. But it seems to me that, you know, we are on course for what is going to be spectacular. We cannot believe how well things are going to happen. But at the moment, Bruno Ratica currently still there in 1st place, 13.4 from Stu Shelton. There's a yellow flag into this section. Who has gone off? It looks like Ollie Gero is struggling with that Aston Martin. Brian Ross, and of course Nuno is trying to get away from Brian Ross. Brian Ross in that Mercedes trying to make it stick. Oh, Nuno clips the wall. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's clipped the wall, which has allowed Brian Ross into 5th place now. That is unfortunate. That could easily allow Adam Morgan up into 6th. Adam Morgan thinks about it. Nuno's still got that damage, but he's got to be careful because he's got Adam Morgan alongside him. Adam Morgan there trying to make a move. Yes, he does, and Nuno has to concede 6th place to Adam Morgan with 7 minutes and 20 seconds till the checker flag drops. It seems that we're in for close proximity, but Adam Morgan will try and push on and push away from Nuno. Whether he does or not is another thing. But 7 minutes to go. It looks like Bruno Batica will be on course for his first victory. Excuse me. First victory of the season with Stu Shelton in second, Rasmus in third. Darren Baldwin fourth at the moment. Brian Ross actually seems to be chasing him at the moment. Brian Ross seems to be chasing Darren for fourth place. That Mercedes has probably been dialed up for quite some time now, so Darren has got to defend like mad this fourth place with almost 6 minutes to go. This is where the race could be hotting up, because 6 minutes seems to be a bit of an eternity round here. But I tell you what, not far away from an absolute epic first win for Bruno Batica though. He's come in towards... Oh, Steve Stones has got electrical issues in that McLaren, so 5 minutes and 40 to go in the clock. Darren's got to defend like mad from Brian Ross. Brian Ross has got that Mercedes closing that Beetle. The Beetle seems to be... It claims it's fast round here. It still seems like it, but we've got 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Excuse me, 5 minutes and 20 seconds before the checker flag does drop. So, you know, we could be in for a close race this evening. It looks like also the battle for 6th and 7th is also hotting up behind. But at the moment, it looks like Darren's going to try and hot on his heels with Brian Ross trying to chase him. 5 minutes to go. These two are going to go tooth and nail. Tooth and nail with 5 minutes to go. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. You've got Nuno trying to escape from Adam Morgan as well, so Adam Morgan trying to go one way. But speaking of one way, you've got Brian Ross and Darren Baldwin. They're going to have a bit of a battle with 4 minutes and 40 seconds. This is where it could really hot up. This is where this lap is going to be pushing. They've got a bit of time. They've got a bit of time. They've got 4.5 minutes to literally get where they want to be. Also, Nuno is at the front from Adam Morgan. Adam Morgan's got that move. He's going to have to try and make that move. So it's Brian Ross, but they've got time because the lap time is in the 52s, so they're not too far to get another couple of laps under their belt. Excuse me, with Darren trying to jink one way. It looks like, you know, Darren's suffering with the hearts with 4 minutes to go because he's got Brian Ross behind him. Nuno's also there, and of course Adam Morgan, so it could be a 4-car tussle for potentially 4th place. Adam Morgan goes one way, overtakes Nuno. Nuno's going to try and defend though. Oh, but Adam Morgan gets that place from Nuno at the moment. Brian Ross trying to still catch up to Darren. Rasmus still third, Stu Shelton second, with Bruno Batica with 3.5 minutes to go, trying to push on. It seems to me that, you know, this battle between 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, it seems to be a bit of an interchanging battle. This is where all or nothing can happen. You know, Darren's got to defend that Beetle. That Beetle is actually quick, but at the moment Adam Morgan has the fastest lap with a 52.163. So we've got 3 minutes to go. This is where it could be hotting up. If Darren and Brian have a bit of problems, that will allow Adam Morgan to try and latch. It looks like it could be a 3-way car tussle. Oh, breathe in. Darren looks like he's got to be careful. He's running out of fuel as well. Is that been a bit of a bad strategy move? Nuno's also there. Nuno is also there. This is where my voice probably will be coughing and spluttering very shortly. But it looks like Brian Ross still has that 4th place from Darren Baldwin at the moment. It looks like Nuno and of course Adam Morgan, these two are going to have a bit of a battle. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So, Nuno gives Adam a bit of a shove out the hairpin. Is Darren going to go into pit lane? No, he's going to have to, isn't he? He's going to have to concede. Oh, that is a shame with 2 minutes to go. He may catch these guys up, he may catch them up. But Brian Ross in 4th place at the moment, Adam Morgan 5th. With Nuno alongside him, is Nuno going to get 5th place? With just under 2 minutes to go in this race. This is where it's going to be all or nothing. As I say, I do apologise for confidence sputtering. But this is what happens, you know. Excuse me. So you got Adam Morgan 5th, and he's going to have to make another splash and dash. 1.5 minutes remaining. But, you know, is he going to make a splash and dash, or is he just going to trick Nuno into thinking, I'm going to go in pit lane, mate? But, you know, is he really? We'll soon find out. Adam Morgan there trying to hold off Nuno. He actually, he's playing mind games with Nuno. Nuno's going to go 5th place. Darren is going to have to settle for 7th. That is a bit unfortunate for Darren, but maybe it's just one of them and it's probably going to be close. 1 minute to go in this race. It kind of looks like Nuno's got 5th place sorted. Brian Mulcahy, even though he's 10th, he's had a bit of a disaster this evening. He said it wasn't going to be well round here. Stu Shelton is currently he's 15.2 from Bruno Batica. He is still in 2nd place. Bruno Batica still leads the race. Rasmus in 2nd, with Brian Ross 4th at the moment. Nuno 5th, Adam Morgan in 6th, Darren in 7th, with Rui Duarte, with Dean Atkinson out of pit lane. Is he gone into pit lane? But he's not had enough fuel put in. 20 seconds remain. But this is where it could be close. Bruno Batica may be the first Portuguese winner of the series, going through the final hairpin to start probably what would be his final lap. Or is the time going to run out as he crosses the line? He's actually took a win, and I'll tell you what, congratulations to Bruno Batica. Stu Shelton will come home in 2nd. I'll tell you what, this has been a fantastic race. A couple of the guys, Stu Shelton 2nd, Rasmus that will have to settle for 3rd. And I'll tell you what, he will be livid because he wanted a win. Brian Ross will come home in 4th. About to lap Dean Atkinson on his way, but it looks like to me Dean Atkinson will finish 9th. Brian Ross will come home 4th. Nuno 5th. Adam Morgan, championship leader, 6th. With Darren Baldwin, is he having a bit of an issue? Coming home in 7th. But I'll tell you what a fantastic race. With Fast Portuguese in 8th, with Dean Atkinson 9th, Brian Mulcahy 11th, and Ollie Gero 11th. And sadly, Steve Stones had a bit of a mechanical issue in his McLaren. But Bruno Batica gets the race win from Stu Shelton. So it looks like we are going to be in for a fantastic race. I do apologise, my voice, it seems to be going quite a lot recently. I'll just share the replay quickly and I'll get the race results as quick as I can. That's okay, mate. Well, yeah, it was a good race. I was kind of worried about you, mate, to be fair. So, Bruno Batika takes a well-deserved victory, followed by Stu Shelton. Rasmus takes third, Brian Ross fourth, Nuno fifth, followed by Adam Morgan. Darren Baldwin seventh, Fast Portuguese, aka Ruduarte, finishes eighth, followed by Brian Moncani 11th, and Ollie Gero takes 11th. Fastest lap went to Adam Morgan with a 52.163 on lap 41. Sadly, Steve Stones actually had electrical faults in his McLaren, which unfortunately did not make him finish. So next week is the final round at the Nürburgring GP circuit. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen, and it is going to be absolutely epic. And until next time, guys, I have been Hoppers for Eldar Racing. Have a good rest of the week, and I will see you for what is going to be a nail-biting finish for the season finale. Until then, guys, take care. Ta-ra.